There's 3 huge mistakes people make listing their branded products. If you're getting an error when you try to list your branded product on Amazon, pay attention. You're not stuck. You don't need to have a registered trademark to list your branded products on Amazon, and today I'm going to show you how. The first mistake is this. Most people believe that you need to have a registered trademark in order to sell branded products on Amazon. Well, you don't. Most people don't know this, but there's actually 2 ways to get approval to sell your branded products on Amazon. One way is to get a registered trademark and then applying for Amazon's brand registry. This is actually the preferred method, but it costs money and can take more time. The other method, which I'm going to show you today, is called brand approval. And this is actually how I got started with my first product on Amazon. I didn't have a registered trademark and I didn't want to list my product as generic. And this is the second mistake people make, and that's listing their products as generic. You don't want to do this. In fact, I highly suggest never listing your products as generic, as it's going to create a whole bunch of problems for you. For one, you won't be able to change it to your brand in the future, and if and when you do want to brand it, you'll have to start all over by creating an entirely new listing, and you'll end up losing all of the work that you've done. You'll lose all the reviews, sales history, listing rank, basically everything. So don't do it. So to start off on the right foot, the first thing you need to do is create a new product listing, even if you don't have a product or if you're not ready to start selling yet. So if you haven't already done so, log into Seller Central and at the top, click on Add Products. If you don't see this option, click on the menu, Catalog, Add Products. And since you want to list your own branded products, these are typically private label products, you need to click down here. Do not search for a product using this field here. Then on the first page, fill in your product details. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to fill it in with some accurate information for now. You can always go back and edit it later. So in this case, I'm just going to make up something for the purpose of this video. Then choose the correct category for your product. It should automatically choose the category for you, but if it's not correct, then choose the right one here. Otherwise, just click on confirm. Okay, so now on this page, here's the most important step. In the brand name field, here's where you need to enter your brand. This is the brand name that you want to use and get approved to sell under. Again, you don't need to have this brand name registered as a trademark. So in this case, I'm just gonna make up a name here. Cutest Cats. Now make sure you do not check this option here. This product does not have a brand name. If you check this box, this indicates that you want to list this product as generic, and you do not want to do that, so don't check this box. Now in the product ID field, here's where you need to enter the UPC barcode that you purchased. Now buying barcodes, where to buy them from, and how many you need to buy is an entirely different topic on its own, and I have a very detailed video that goes over this, which I'll leave a link to down in the description below if you want to learn more about it. But in a nutshell, do not buy your UPC barcodes from third-party sellers. Only buy them directly from GS1. The GS1 barcode only costs $30 and you only need to buy one, so don't get a G10 exemption. So once you've done that, enter the barcode here, choose UPC, then click on next. Now, notice that this error just popped up. Brand name approval required. You have entered a brand name that has not been approved by Amazon. You need to apply for approval to list products using this brand name. Now here's where you need to go through the brand approval process so that you can use your brand on Amazon to sell your branded products. Once you've completed this approval process and you get approved, you can come back later to this listing and complete it. Now, if for whatever reason, when you create your new product listing and you do not see this error message prompting you to go through the approval process, then you'll have to get to the brand approval page in a slightly different way. On the top here, click on Help. Scroll to the bottom and then click on My Issue Isn't Listed. Then type in error 5665 and click on Continue. And you'll see that the first option here is the recommended one, Fix Brand Protection Errors. So click on it. And you can see that it's telling you to create a new listing and basically go through all of the steps that I just showed you earlier. And then when the brand approval error pops up, then go through the brand approval process. But since it didn't pop up, you can see it says, if you are unable to create the error or if the selling application is not available, click on Create a Case and provide the required information in the next step so we can assist you further. So in this case, click on the Create a Case button here. Now basically, this form that you're seeing here is the same form that you're normally going to see if the error message did pop up. So let's hop on back to the previous page and continue from there. Okay, so when this error pops up, click on Apply to Sell. All right, so now we're on the brand approval application form. You can see that it says here, This is a brand approval application for Cutest Cats. Brand names need to be approved by Amazon before they can be used by sellers. Again, if you do have a registered trademark, it says here, are you a brand owner and have a registered trademark or pending trademark? You may be eligible to enroll in brand registry. Please leave this workflow and enroll in brand registry instead. So if you do have a registered trademark, you do not go through this brand approval process. You need to enroll in brand registry, which will give you access to a bunch of more advanced selling features, such as brand protection and A+ content. Okay, so in this field, if you have a website for your brand already, you can enter the URL here. This will help your product and brand validity and make the whole approval process easier with Amazon if you do have a website. But as you can see here, it says that this is optional, so you don't need to have a website. So if you don't have one, don't go through the trouble of creating one. But what you can go to the trouble of doing is smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It lets YouTube know that you're finding value in this video, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you. And my name is Crescent. If you want to learn more about selling on Amazon and connect with me, join my Amazon Facebook group. It's one of the largest with over 30,000 members. You can find a link down in the description below. And with that said, in the next field here, choose the category for your product. You can use the search field like before, and it should find the best category for you. Again, if it's not the right category, choose the best category that fits the product you are trying to sell. It should match the one you chose earlier. All right, now onto the Submit Documents section. This is where you need to provide photos of your product with your branding on it to prove that you are the brand owner. You need to include an image of your brand's logo without other products in the picture, label the image files as your brand name, and upload at least 2 images of your brand's product and packaging. Sounds simple enough, right? But no, it isn't. You need to pay extremely close attention here because here's where so many people make the third biggest mistake, which gets their application denied, and that's not following the guidelines that you can see here. You can see that it says, documents must meet the following requirements. The branding on your product or packaging must match exactly. Now, this should be pretty self-explanatory. The branding that's on your product must match exactly what you entered in your application. But like it says here, the capitalization can be different. So for example, if I put Cutest Cats in my application, it can't say Cutest Cat or Cute Cats. Okay? Next, the pictures are taken by you and items are handheld or placed on a table. Digitally altered or photoshopped images will result in your application being rejected. Again, these must be real life photos, not fake or photoshopped photos. Like photos of your product where you photoshopped your branding or logo on it. That's not going to work. And I've found that it helps if you're actually holding the product rather than just having photos of it on a table. Just make sure your hands or fingers aren't covering your brand, the logo, or the barcode. Now, I probably shouldn't suggest this next option because so many people get it wrong and get their application rejected, but I've had many of my students get away with photoshopping their logos on their products. And they had to do this because they didn't have a product yet, or their manufacturer didn't have their production units ready for them to take real photos of it with their brand on it. Now, the litmus test here is if you do decide to Photoshop your brand on the product, the final image must look 100% real. Meaning if you showed the image to 100 people, none of them will be able to tell that it was Photoshopped. Now, I've seen so many people attempt to Photoshop it themselves or have a friend do it that has such poor Photoshopping skills that the final result was just terrible. So again, unless the final result is indistinguishable from real photos, do not attempt this. So if you're in this situation where you don't have a product to take real photos of, then ask your supplier if they can make a sample unit with your branding on it. But this is unlikely due to it being cost prohibitive, but it never hurts to ask. Or another option is if you're in the middle of manufacturing, have your manufacturer pull the first unit off the production line and expedite the shipping to you so that you can have the photos taken. Or a third method, and here's a secret tip which I've actually done in the past, is if you're having custom packaging done, such as a custom design box, then have the box printed out and take photos of the box following these guidelines. And since you don't have to take photos of what's inside the box, you don't actually have to have your product inside it. Get it? Okay, so next, the branding, in this case, Cutest Cats, must be stamped, stitched, printed, or stuck on the product and or packaging so that it cannot be easily removed. What this means is that your branding or logo must be permanent. It can't be a sticker or a label. So like I said earlier, if you're designing a custom box, then your branding or logo must be printed on the box. If not, then printed or molded directly on your product, like you can see here in this example. Now, I also want to point out, as you can see here, the branding cannot be easily removed. The branding may not be manually written or temporarily attached to the packaging. However, in some categories, such as apparel or jewelry, branded hang tags or stickers are considered to be permanently affixed. So if you're selling clothing or jewelry, tags with your branding on it is okay. And last, the branding is not infringing on another brand's trademark. So this should be pretty obvious. The branding on your product must be your own and not someone else's intellectual property. So you can't have Apple's logo or someone else's branding on it. Okay, so checkmark all of these options to verify that you followed these guidelines, and then once you have the photos ready, you can upload them here. What I suggest is actually uploading 3 or 4 photos, not just the 1 or 2 like it suggests. Take photos from different angles and from several different sides of your product so they can see all around your product. And make sure the lighting is good and that it's in focus. And a pro tip here, although it doesn't say it's required, it seems to help with the verification process if you also show the UPC barcode in the photos. Okay, so if you do happen to get your application rejected, 99.9% of the time it's because of your photos. So if you do get rejected, take better photos and resubmit your application. But don't worry, just keep trying until you get accepted. Now moving on, if you have any additional comments that you'd like to include, you can add them here and enter your email address here. And although it says your phone number is optional, I suggest including it here so that if they do need to contact you, it's often so much easier to clarify any issues when you can speak to an agent directly over the phone. Then click on submit and wait. And be patient here. This process can take several days to over a week, sometimes even longer. And again, if you do get a notification that your application was denied, then follow the suggestions in the notification, fix the problems, and resubmit the application. And like I said before, 99% of the time, it's because of your photos. Now, once your brand is approved, you won't have to go through this process again. You can list any of your future products under that brand, regardless of what category you're choosing. But that doesn't mean you're allowed to sell in any category you want. You'll still have to get category approval if the category is gated. Okay, so once your brand is approved, you can go back and complete that new product listing that you started earlier. However, it's important that while you're creating your new product listing, that you make sure that your listing is fully keyword optimized for Amazon search algorithm, as well as have a pricing structure that's set up correctly for your product launch so that you can get the most sales and at the same time not lose the buy box. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you want to learn exactly how to do this, click right over here.